I ran away because I'm child-free and I felt like my fiancé was trying to get me pregnant. I, 26F, have always known I didn't want kids. Even as a child, when adults asked how many kids I wanted, my answer was always none. I didn't even know what child-free meant yet, but that's what I was. As I got older, I understood it more clearly. I didn't feel that unconditional love people describe when talking about having children. Could I love a child? What if I couldn't? I've always felt that I can't be a mother because I don't know what that kind of love feels like. That's how I've lived my whole life. Then I met my fiancé, 34M, 2 years ago. He was my first everything, and through him I finally experienced romantic love. But when it came to kids, I still knew I couldn't do it. From the beginning, I told him that having children was off the table. He said he was fine with that because he never really liked kids, so it wasn't an issue for him. 5 months ago he proposed, and I said yes. We moved in together, and everything was perfect. We were planning our wedding slowly, no rush. That was until his sister had a baby 2 months ago. My fiancé instantly fell in love with his nephew. He was there every step of the way. He bathed him, changed him, napped with him. It all seemed normal, so I didn't think much of it. 3 weeks ago, we went to his sister's house for lunch. My fiancé was mowing her lawn when she asked me to watch the baby for a couple of minutes. I tried to refuse, but she looked so exhausted that I agreed. I thought she would just put him in his stroller, but instead she plopped him directly into my arms and went upstairs. I panicked. I had never held such a small baby before, and I was terrified I would drop him. 5 minutes later, he started crying. At first it was manageable, but then he began screaming at the top of his lungs. How can such a tiny baby be so loud? I was almost in tears myself. I stood up as carefully as I could and went outside where my fiancé was. I yelled for him to take the baby from me. He walked over, took a picture of me holding the baby, and instead of actually taking him, he started giving me tips on how to calm him down. He pushed the baby closer to my chest and said, "He really suits you." I was on the verge of a panic attack, my hands trembling. I was even more scared of dropping him. I yelled, "If you don't grab him, I'm putting him on the floor." He got angry, called me a witch, and grabbed the baby. I couldn't handle any of it anymore, so I took an Uber home. He came home around midnight, showered, and went to sleep on the couch. When I woke up the next morning, he was already gone. He didn't come home again until 3 a.m. I told him we needed to talk, but he just said, "Tomorrow," and went back to the couch. The next day, when I returned from work, he was waiting for me. We sat down, and he apologized for how he reacted. Then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. Me, do you want to have kids now? Him, I don't know. I just love him so much, you know? Me, well, that's normal, isn't it? Him, I guess. But do you really feel that against having kids? You don't even have to get pregnant or give birth. We could adopt. I told him how terrifying pregnancy and childbirth were for me, especially because my mother almost died giving birth to me and had to have an emergency hysterectomy. Me, that's not the only reason, and you know that. You know how I feel about not knowing if I could love a child unconditionally. Him, I know, but you learn to love me, right? You can love a child too. Listen, we don't have to agree now. We can get married first and revisit it later. Please don't shut it down immediately. Then he started to cry and hugged me, so I dropped the topic. But deep down, I knew I couldn't be a mom. I know myself. And honestly, I felt betrayed by him. I thought maybe I'd eventually start resenting him, but I hoped we could move past this. Then he started doing strange things. He changed his wallpaper to the picture of me holding the baby. He started calling me mama. He wanted to have unprotected sex. He even began touching my stomach when he thought I was asleep. I have untreated fertility issues. My period is irregular, but mostly pain-free, so I never pursued testing since I didn't plan on having kids. When he suggested I go to the doctor to see what's going on with that, I panicked. It felt like he was trying to get me pregnant, and deletion is still illegal in the country we live in. So I left. I told him my mom fell in the shower and broke her leg, a lie, and that I wanted to stay with her for a couple of days. He said that was fine. I waited for him to go to work, grabbed important documents, some clothes, sentimental items, my dog, and left. I don't know if what I did was right. I'm starting to doubt myself. Maybe he just wanted me to be healthy. Maybe he was just cuddling me. Maybe he liked the picture. But I can't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He hasn't realized that I left and never come back. He only questioned why I took the dog, jokingly. I didn't tell anyone what was happening. I just told my mom I missed her. Maybe I should go back and pretend everything is fine, but something about him feels off now, and I don't know anymore. Update 1, condensed and corrected, content preserved. I got a pregnancy blood test, negative. I talked to my mom and then my sisters. They admitted they never liked the age gap but didn't want to push me away by saying anything. I apologized and told them to always tell me if something feels wrong. I told my boss a safer version of the truth. He was furious, not just at my ex, but at me for not telling him earlier. He said he didn't bring me to a foreign country just to leave me unsupported. He promised to find me a position back in my home country and also said he would accompany me if I wanted to retrieve my belongings. After thinking about it for a few days, I decided to go back for my things. I know it might sound silly, but I had spent a lot of money on K-pop photo cards, albums, and manga, and I didn't want to lose my collection. While staying with family and friends, I realized how isolated and lonely I had been abroad. Even my dog seemed happier. I visited my father's grave for the first time in a long while. It was emotional but healing. I also went to my mom's gynecologist and started the long process of getting a tubal ligation. I felt so free leaving that appointment. When my ex texted to ask about my mom, I told him she was doing better and that I'd be back on Saturday. I packed up the car, drove 14 hours, and stayed with my boss and his family. The next morning, he and his son came with me to my ex's place. We packed quickly. After that, I went to his sister's house. I asked if he had told her to make me hold the baby. She said absolutely not. She said he lied to her and claimed I asked to hold the baby, that I had a panic attack because of fertility issues, and that I wanted to babysit the baby and go to the park together as a couple. She told him he was crazy and refused to let her baby be part of that. He got mad and didn't speak to her for days. She was furious when I told her the truth. She apologized. I apologized. She said she was considering going low contact with him because his behavior was creepy. Later, I met my ex with my boss and his son present for safety. I broke up with him. He cried, begged, said he'd die without me, said he'd get a vasectomy, said his family would judge him. I told him we were not in a telenovela, gave his ring back, and left. I went home and slept for almost a whole day. I made a therapy appointment for the 13th. Work also told me they would rehire me in March. Edit, clarifications, 1. I did love my fiancé. I froze in panic during the breakup and forgot the speech I prepared. 2. I did not bring 2 men to mock him. They came for my safety. 3. I am already going to therapy. 4. I'm trying to get a bilateral salpingectomy. 5. The story is real. English just isn't my first language. Final update, I'm officially sterile now. I got a bilateral salpingectomy. No more kids for me, yay. Work is going great. I got my old job back. I will travel every few months, but I'll stay with my former boss and his family. My therapist is amazing. She's helping me work through deeper issues I didn't even recognize. My ex is expecting a child with someone else now. I'm actually glad he got what he wanted. He wasn't an evil person, he just let his emotions take over and made bad decisions. I've moved on. I also started seeing someone 2 months ago. We are taking things very slow. He is gentle, patient, supportive, and he also doesn't want kids. He got a vasectomy at 21. He knows about my past trauma and never pressures me. I'm happy now. I feel lighter. I'm moving on, healing, and surrounded by people who care. This will probably be my last update. I plan to delete this account eventually to fully close this chapter.